Hello everybody, Eric again. Like and subscribe. Here we go. Let's talk about Babbacombe Lee. Babbacombe Lee is a 1971 album by British folk rock group Fairpoint Convention, which tells the life story of John Babbacombe Lee, a Victorian-era alleged murderer who was condemned to death but was reprieved after the gallows failed on 3 occasions to work properly. After the commercial and chart success of its predecessor, Angel Delight, the album sold disappointingly, though it was critically acclaimed, and is recorded by the authors of the Electric Muse 1971. Number 5. As the first folk rock opera, it was the band's 7th album since their debut in 1968. Concept. The album follows John Babbacombe Lee's life story. The events of his life are described in song, from his boyhood through his conviction for murder, sentenced to death, and the failure to carry out the execution. The songs describe his boyhood poverty, his time in the Royal Navy, and his being invalided out. The album then describes how Lee went to work in the service of a Miss K's. While Lee was in her service, she was murdered, and he was accused, tried and convicted of the crime, and sentenced to death. However, when authorities attempted to hang him, the gallows failed 3 times, resulting in his release. These events are all told in song, and all but one of those songs are originals. Dave Swabrick has explained that he conceived the album, and after discovering a file of old newspaper clippings in a junk shop. This file contained John Lee's own copies of the newspaper articles and was bound by him, signed, and dated the 30th of January 1908. Because of its relatively complete narrative structure, Babbacombe Lee is regarded by the authors of the Electric Muse 1975 as a rock opera, and because of the band's musical style, in particular the first folk rock opera. Track listing. Songs written by Fairpoint Convention. The original album listed tracks as specifically rather than a discrete tracks reflecting the structure of the narrative. Side 1. Number, title, length. 1. John's reflection on his boyhood, his introduction to Miss K's and the Glen, his restlessness and his struggles with his family, finally successful to join the Navy. 2. This was the happiest period in his life. All looked set fair for a career until he was stricken with sickness and invalided out of his chosen niche in life. Reluctantly and unhappily, he turned to a number of minimal occupations, and finally returned to the services of Miss K's. 3. Tragedy now strikes hard. The world's imagination is caught by the brutal senselessness of the imperial criminal who slays his kind old mistress. Side 2. Number, title, length. 1. John was hardly more than a bereaved observer at his own trial, not being allowed to say more than a few words. The tides of fate washed him to the condemned cell, where he waits 3 sad weeks for his last night on earth. 2. When it comes, he cannot sleep, but when he does, a strange, pathetic dream comes to him and helps him to bear the strain of his next day's ordeal. A scaffold and its crew try in vain 3 times to take his life. Each of the 5 sections is composed of a number of songs and fragments of songs that were not listed separately on the original album. 1971 US DJ release. AMM Records released a banded LP pressing for American radio stations. It removed the 2 spoken passages during side 1. Unlike the standard release, listed Fairpoint Convention as the collective writers of all tracks except the Sailor's Alphabet, which had the credit thanks to Bert Lloyd. Each of the 2 sentences there. 1. Little Did I Think, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. 2. I Was 16 / John My Son, 4 minutes and 41 seconds. 3. The Sailor's Alphabet, 5 minutes and 52 seconds. 4. John Lee, 3 minutes and 1 second. 5. Breakfast in Mayfair, 3 minutes and 10 seconds. 6. Trial Song, 3 minutes and 55 seconds. 7. Cell Song, 3 minutes and 32 seconds. 8. The Time Is Near, 2 minutes and 32 seconds. 9. Dream Song, 5 minutes and 23 seconds. 10. Wake Up, John, 5 minutes and 36 seconds. 2004 Compact Disc listing. The later release of the album abandoned the original 5-point division and lists the songs as separate tracks, complete with songwriting credits, as follows. 1. The Verdict, We by Philip Sterling Wall, 28 seconds. 2. Little Did I Think, Dave Swebrick, 2 minutes and 19 seconds. 3. I Was 16, Part 1, Simon Nicole, Dave Pegg, 1 minute and 29 seconds. 4. John My Son, Nicole, Pegg, 44 seconds. 5. I Was 16, Part 2, Nicole Pegg, 1 minute and 17 seconds. 6. St. Nadian's Idol, Ronald Cooper / Trumpet Hornpipe, traditional arranged by Swebrick, 1 minute and 14 seconds. 7. Sailor's Alphabet, traditional, arranged by L.A. Lloyd, 5 minutes and 50 seconds. 8. John Lee, Swebrick, 3 minutes and 4 seconds. 9. Newspaper Reading, read by A.L. Lloyd, 46 seconds. 10. Breakfast in Mayfair, Nicole, 3 minutes and 9 seconds. 11. Trial Song, Swebrick, Pegg, 3 minutes and 55 seconds. 12. Cell Song, Swebrick, 3 minutes and 34 seconds. 13. The Time Is Near, Pegg, 2 minutes and 31 seconds. 14. Dream Song, Swebrick, Pegg, 5 minutes and 24 seconds. 15. Wake Up John, Hanging Song, Swebrick, Pegg, 5 minutes and 25 seconds. Two additional bonus tracks appear on some post-2004 CD releases. 16. Farewell to a Poor Man's Son, Swebrick, 4 minutes and 55 seconds. 17. Breakfast in Mayfair, Nicole, 3 minutes and 59 seconds. These tracks were recorded in late 1974 for the BBC Two documentary about John Lee, narrated by Marvin Bragg. The program was broadcast in the BBC Two Second in the House series as the man they couldn't hang, John Lee, on the 1st of February 1975. Personnel: Dave Swebrick, Dave Pegg, Dave Matax, Jerry Donahue, Simon Nicole. Although he was not in the band at this time, Nicole made a brief return for this one-off project, with for one song, the newly returned Sandy Denny. 2011, Babbacombe Lee Live Again. In 2011, to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the original album. Fairpoint performed Babbacombe Lee in its entirety on both their winter tour and at the Gripretti Festival in August. The performance was released as a CD and digital download in 2012, with a lineup of Simon Nicole, Dave Pegg, Rick Sanders, Chris Leslie, and Jerry Conway. Personnel: Fairpoint Convention, Simon Nicole, vocals, guitar; Dulcimer, 12; Dave Matax, drums; electric piano, 12; harmonicum, 6/7; Dave Swebrick, vocals, fiddle, mandolin; Dave Pegg, vocals, bass, mandolin. On 16 and 17, Jerry Donahue, lead guitar; Sandy Denny, vocals on Breakfast in Mayfair. Charts: Chart 1972, peak position, US Billboard Top LPs and tape, 195. Bye for now.